It's time to thwip. What's up, Thwippersnappers? I'm AJ, and welcome back to another Thwipside review. Today you're getting a bang for your buck because I'm doing a twofer, and I'm going to be reviewing the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Mr. Freeze and Knightfall Catwoman figures. Kicking it off with accessories, of course they come with their DC logoed bases. And of course their trading cards with artwork that was on the back of each package. Of course, you get the Mr. Freeze, Knightfall Catwoman, and the bio. Mr. Freeze also comes with his freeze gun. It is a really nice sculpt with some, it's cast in silver with some really nice details, coming down to like this creamish colored gray, I guess you'd say, and a freeze effect. I would like to see, I would have liked to have seen some paint, especially on the freeze effect, and we'll get into paints in a little bit. Catwoman gets two sprawled out hands, which are pretty cool, and her whip, which this thing is really long, and it's very soft. It's not bendy wire, but you can move it around and pose it in all different ways. Not that I think it'll actually stay, but I think it's cool that it's really bendy and flexible. So let's go ahead and check out Catwoman first, because her suit isn't as intricate, because that's the design of the comic, of her in the comics. But taking a closer look at her head portrait, I think it's really good. I think they did a really good job with it. Like most people say, for Catwoman, it would have been cool if she had like a little playful smile or sneer, but Catwoman can be downright serious too, so that's okay in my book. And the eyes are painted nicely. No side eye, which is huge for me. And then you get like a blue blue paint apps in the hair to give it that comic booky feel. Maybe a little too blue for my taste, but it's fine. And it's a nice sculpt. And then just moving down to her costume, like I said, Catwoman skin tight costume, you can see like the remnants or like a hint of maybe a zipper function that goes down to the oversized diaper. She has the long black gloves. Speaking of the diaper, I wish they would shorten those up. For a character whose suit is all supposed to be one piece, basically, it's not too bad, but I would like them to work on this diaper effect if they're going to keep on using it. And of course, you move back down to the tall, long boots, and you get the nice high heels. So yeah, I think she came out pretty cool. Articulation-wise, you can probably already tell this hair does make this a hindrance to look up. Well, it's a little soft. You can get a little up, and then quite a bit down. And some tilt and some rotation, and of course you get the arms up, swivel. There's a bicep swivel at the top of that glove. She does have the double jointed elbows, but I'd be careful. I'm not sensing a problem with mine, but with thinner armed characters I'm always careful, because of course the pins are smaller. And then you do get some rotation at the wrists, of course, and the hinges. And then she has the upper torso, which on mine is a little tight, but that's okay. It rocks. And then you get the waist stuff going on. Swivel at the waist. She can arc back far. And unfortunately, not much crunch at all, which is a shame for a character like Catwoman, because she gets in all sorts of hunched down and crouched poses. And you're not going to be able to achieve that with this figure, which is a shame. Her legs go up, do the splits that far, kick up, kick back, the double jointed knees, and of course the hinge at the ankle. You don't really get a rocker, because I think the pin is more straight down. You get a swivel, and of course the toe. Checking out Victor, get a close-up on his head, which is a really nice head sculpt in my opinion. I love the paint used on his head, and of course you get the red circle glasses or whatever. He's got some nice tubes for a suit that come around to these nice tanks that are all painted in like a silver patina. And you've got a lot of nice sculpt work going on in his suit. You got some reds to offset it and match the glasses, but there's a lot of detail in the armor pads coming down to the belt. Of course, you get like the black undersuit, some more sculpt work and detail in his leg armor, I guess, part of the suit, down to the shin pads and the boots. And I will say that I am kind of happy because the promotional pictures to my crappy eyes, I thought that this color here, this like powdery blue color, was used throughout all these other pieces, but it is like a creamish color, which I think is pretty cool. They use that to offset it. And as I mentioned with his gun, the suit would have really popped if they had some paint work added to bring out the details of the sculpt. It's a shame that a lot of it gets lost far away. But when you get close, you see like there's like a buckle thing there and all this other stuff going on. So that is kind of a shame. Some paint would have really made this guy pop. Articulation on Freeze is pretty cool because you can actually take off his domed helmet and articulate the head. It swivels. It actually looks down real nice and up really nice as well. And like you can turn his head and then fit his helmet back on. I mean, I'm sure full range you won't be able to because there's just not as much room, but you can move him around a bit and have him looking around, which I think is a cool feature. And it just pops back on if you can find the right. See, I got it too skewed, I guess. You got to find the sweet spot. In there, pop it back on. So cool. That wasn't the figure being a pain. That was me trying to find a nice spot. I am going to take it off after the review and fix it. But anyway, you've got these shoulder pads are soft, so if you go up like that, you can get his arm out that far. And of course, you get all the McFarlane-esque wannabe butterfly in there. And you get, well, mine's a little stuck, but you do get bicep swivel. There we go. It's a little tight. Nice double jointed elbows. They go up about that far. And the wrists and the hinge and all that. Torso articulation. Upper torso. Twist, twist, all around. Rocks. Together with the, well, again, the waist on him is really tight, but it is there. But you can get some nice arc back just with the upper torso. And I think it's funny that he crunches more than Catwoman because he is in a big suit, so his character doesn't really dictate the need for that. So that's kind of interesting that he crunches more. His leg does go out that far, kicks up, kicks back. I think, oh yeah, another good thing about him is you get a swivel at the boot, which is awesome because we don't usually get anything like that from McFarlane. You get the double jointed knees, ankles forward that far, back that far, not much back, a little bit. You get some rocker and toe. And oh, going back to that, I tried the hip. There's nothing really at the hip, and sadly the same for Catwoman. I would have liked to at least have seen to have her some more hip articulation. That really didn't come out very articulated, but I think you know what I mean. Here they both are with their fellow wave mate, the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Hush Batman. In my opinion, so far, I think the best Batman that McFarlane's put out so far. And I think he scales nicely with the Catwoman. And I think he's a little too big for Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze, I think, should have been a little bit taller. He didn't need to be a mega fig. But I think because of the bulkiness of the suit, he is usually taller than Batman. So I would have liked him to be taller. So bottom line for me is I do think these two figures are pretty cool, even though they do have issues. Mr. Freeze, the least amount of issues in my opinion. It's just I wish there was some more paint apps on him to make him really stick out. And that's about it. Catwoman, a few more issues. The crunch is a big minus for her because she's Catwoman. It'd be nice to see her be able to crunch. That's the glaring one. I wish there was a way, even though I know it's hard and I really even shouldn't be griping about it, is to make her head look up a little more. But with all that hair, I don't know how you would do that. Maybe make it a little more flexible in the back. But anyway, that's a small gripe. The main thing is the crunch. And also, I do want to caution that her hands, her interchangeable hands, do pop out very easily, at least on my copy. So just watch out for that. They stay on fine, but you barely need to put any pressure to yank them off. So just be careful so you don't end up losing your interchangeable hands. And I will say this whip, it's not super heavy by any means, and it's nice and bendy, but the weight of it, because I think it's the thinness of her wrists, it does tend to make it sag forward. Like I had her in another pose and it kept flopping forward because her wrists weren't strong enough. Just something to look out for. Another thing I will say that has nothing to actually do with Catwoman per se, but this is Knightfall Catwoman, and I think it's really crummy that we got the Asbat Batman from Knightfall as a gold label, and in my area, in a lot of people's areas, you can't find Walmart exclusives, and that's what he was. So you're going to have a Knightfall line, and the main character is a gold label exclusive no one can get. I think that's really crummy, so I'm hoping for a re-release on that and looking forward to the Knightfall regular Batman, and hopefully that's not a stupid gold label BS, because then I will be really, really pissed. With that being said, drop me a comment and tell me what you guys think about these two, and thanks as always for all the I'm keeping that in support and all the subscriptions, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time on the Thwip side. Later.